Big Dookie Chain. I am Van Styles. To my left is Tash, Hush behind the boards. And we have DL, Daniel Laurent.
You said it right.
Yeah. I remember I used to say it all the time on the radio because we had your Masterpiece track in constant rotation.
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten. 15 years later, I still haven't forgotten how to say
Most
your
people
name.
say Daniel Laurent, and I'm like, oh, jeez. Okay.
That's the French way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I originally was Daniel Laurent. That was my name. And I would be in the Middle East. I'm like, oh, you know, what's your name? Like, oh, Daniel
Middle
Laurent.
East Club. We got it. We got to make it clear for listeners.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Like,
because people are like, what?
Yeah.
So, and
Boston,
people would be like, yo, Daniel Laurent, what's your name? I'm like, no, Daniel Laurent. And the music would be blasting. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to, like, just call me DL, right? And then not too long after, Oprah came with the big expose on TV with Brothers on the Down Low, Brothers on the DL. I was like, yikes, bad timing, right? And then, yeah, so.
So hold on. You're trying to say that,
no more DL.
like, Oprah's the one who started the DL thing?
No, she exposed it. I mean, once
right.
she came up with that special.
I don't know about the special. That's what I'm saying. So that like, wasn't a thing? Like, was it
DL
called
became
DL still?
synonymous with.
It was
So,
like
Oprah's the one who popped that off?
She's definitely her and Terry McMillan, because Terry McMillan who wrote How Stella Got a Groove Back.
Okay.
That was based on, I think she was, I don't know, married or with this guy, and he was like on the DL, and so it was this whole, and I'm like,
but
damn.
no one said that before that, right? That really, huh?
I don't
That's
remember
interesting.
hearing it, but it literally, like the timing, I'm like, oh my god.
Well, I'm just saying because it's super hip hop. Like DL was like some like hip hop shit, like Down Low. You
Down
know
Low,
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but Down Low, a different Down
Right.
Low.
No, I know that, but I'm saying like, and
Yeah.
then Oprah's the one that put that into the vernacular is kind of, if that's the case, it's interesting to me.
And then you got, you know, shout out, you know, my brother Easy Money. I love him. You know what I'm saying? You'll have people to be making little jokes. They'll be like, oh, you know, DL. Oh, that's some DL. Like, I was like, all right.
Well, there's other DLs
Well,
in the city, too.
There's Myster DL. Well, only Myster DL, right? There's not another one.
In Boston, just Myster DL. But
Yeah.
I've definitely heard other.
DL Incognito. He was big on like CD Baby back in the days.
But there's only one Daniel Laurent.
Yeah.
So that's what matters.
Me and Myster DL had some issues at one point.
I think everyone had issues with him at one point too. You know, one of those guys.
You know, and it was Lyrical's fault. Yeah. Lyrical gave him my phone number, and I'm big on not just giving people's phone numbers. Like, you have to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not cool to assume that, like, even you two, right? If you call me like, yo, you got his phone number? I'm like, all right, well, let me see. Then I'll ask you, is it okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A warm handoff is nice, you know.
That sounds different.
That sounds like on the DL. That sounds
Pause.
on the DL.
A warm handoff.
But let's. I said hand off, not hand job here, folks.
Same difference.
But that's like, but that does sound like some white people shit. Like that sounds like some like warm. I don't know. Yeah, that sounds like some.
Hey,
other,
that
like,
is business vernacular.
No,
that is networking vernacular.
That's a
frat
different
house.
type of
That's
business.
frat
When you
house
introduce one person to another person.
It's like, yeah, I gave my frat brother a warm handoff. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
So anyway, to put a button, because not to leave that, like, so Lyrical gave him my phone number because he felt we'd have a decent conversation. I wasn't in the best space of whatever was going on, and I have this guy calling me, like, talking about, you know, we have the same name and this, that, and the third, and we should battle for it. And
Shit, like real hip hop shit.
yeah, and it's just
You
like,
should have battled him.
You should
Well,
have bad. What headspace were you in? Because ever since watching this Cry for Me, I'm worried. Like, I understand that it's not you playing you, but were you in that headspace?
no, you know, so Cry for
talk about this film.
So,
it's a short.
Cry for Me, and Purple Domestic Violence Awareness Month is coming up, starting October 1, and so you know, there's been a lot of instances that's been happening. And I think there were a couple that really like hit me, and as an artist, I'm like, what can I do? Like, what can I say? And I wrote a song called Cry for Me, and to be transparent, I studied Love the Way You Lie by Eminem and Rihanna. I studied.
Which they wanted to pull from MTV. There was like a whole backlash when this whole woke movement happened.
Yeah.
They were like, that video was deemed
because
unacceptable because
the lyrics,
violence against.
but Eminem has also made his bones by saying things just, this outlandish that like others may not be able to get away with.
And they were role playing him and Rihanna. So it's like people are idiots. And anyone that thinks that should be pulled is a fucking retard.
Well, I knew that.
Now I'm going to get canceled.
I know you can't.
God damn it.
You got the R.
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So I knew I didn't want to be so descriptive in my lyrics as that song, but I wanted something that was packaged in a way where like there are people that listen to that song that don't know it's about domestic violence, right? They just.
Do you think there's people that listen to "Love the Way You Lie" and don't know it's about domestic violence?
Yeah, I talked to some of them.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
People
because
don't know.
like
you're telling like because to me that is how can what else could it possibly be about like.
Right.
Like, how is it not about that?
This is just people not listening to lyrics.
Watch me burn.
He's talking about like the whole...
but so most people, right, just with songs, most people remember the chorus, right?
Yeah, I get it.
The chorus is just stand and watch me burn, love the way you lie, right? And then can't even tell me what it feels like.
I'm gonna punch my fist through a drywall, fucking like
punch a fist through a drywall. That's
fucking,
anger, right? But then like that's why they call it window pane.
It's my fault.
It's just cute little.
Yeah, I love that line too.
Right, but he beautifully woven in the lyrics into the
it's just so on the nose to me. It's perfect. I believe you.
We didn't know what Nelly country grammar.
No, that's not true. I knew what it was about. When the hook is just so crazy. When you hear the hook, you're like, whoa, that's
because it's a
nuts.
children's. It's ice cream. It's ice cream.
Well, and I was never really thinking about it.
When you hear it 100 times on the radio, then you hear it off the radio.
It's
you're
different.
Like, what the fuck is that?
Street sweeper, baby.
Yeah.
But you know what he says? He says cocked, ready to let it go. So he's actually not shooting anyone in the song. He's just saying,
but he's saying he's
ready to let it go.
But I'm going down, like it. It sounds cute. So this,
for sure. That's what I'm saying. So, I never thought about what it was about.
I studied the song.
Tash brought speed.
I studied the song. I also studied Charlie Puth, Wiz Khalifa, "See You Again," because I wanted to have the same kind of feel that song has, right? But I didn't want to be so descriptive in talking about what I'm talking about. And so with Cry For Me, I wrote it in a way where like it's not so blatant, but there's little red flags that sprinkled throughout it. And so for example, like I can't remember the lyrics now. But like
speaking of lyrics, you had while I was driving here, I heard, this is why I'm probably thinking of it, street sweeper line from your track with Man Terror. You go, I'm not a street sweeper, I'm a peacekeeper.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a Nelly moment.
Wait, how'd you hear that song?
I heard it on Apple Music, baby.
Jesus.
I got the inside.
Man Terror.
Yeah, who knew?
What is that? So in the description of the song, I mean in the video, and you just said right there that real life instances have happened that inspired you to do it. What are the real life instances that happened that inspired you to do this?
So I will answer, but I'm all.
Well, I hope so. You're on an interview show.
Well, no, fair enough. So what I mean by that is, throughout this whole process, I've been very, very mindful of walking a line of awareness and advocacy, but not seeming as if I am capitalizing off of, because there's real murders that happen, right? And so, one that really hit me, and there's people who I know and love who were friends with her, was Sherelle Pringle, who was murdered. And the
what's the story behind that? There's people that might not know about that.
And like people can Google her name, right? But I don't know if it's 100% out as far as what happened. People feel a way about what happened.
Boston?
She's from Dorchester. But she lived outside of Dorchester. She lived, out.
So she's a local case. Okay.
And so she went out and never made it. So the gist is she went out and never made it back home.
Okay.
Right. And so what happened during that time frame, who knows? But her family put out a search, called the police. Police wasn't helpful. They all got together, put out a search party, tried to find her, located, pinged her phone. They found her on the side of the road. Right.
Okay.
And the trauma that comes from that and all the things that come from that. And they arrested someone. And again, you can Google and see whatever. The other thing
Did you know her personally?
I didn't know her personally. We met, but my wife, knows her and is friends with her, and literally,
so it was close to home.
Yeah, and I shared her flyer because she was missing, and so people were trying to find her.
All right.
So I'm mindful of sharing flyers and sharing GoFundMe's and all that type of stuff because you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But literally, when I tell you, everyone that I know and love was sharing this flyer. And so I'm like, okay, and so I shared it and was hopeful, and it didn't turn out. And so, there's another one, is a young woman who was murdered, Deja Starr, and people, again, can look
Local?
up. Yeah. And, I don't know the full, but she was stabbed multiple times, and she has a daughter she left behind. And, I grew up in a time where, and I don't want to paint it as if, violence didn't occur with women, but I grew up in a time where it was like no women, no children. So there was a certain, at least spoken sanctity of that. And I'm seeing constantly girls being shot in cars, and it's just what is happening?
Speaking of Rihanna,
but devil's advocate on that, and I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I'm first and foremost, I agree, but devil's advocate on it. I also agree with this, is that something's happened in the last 15, 20 years, 10 years that women, I'll punch a man right in his fucking face and then walk up and punch a man in his fucking face and then not think
consequences.
Yeah, there's fucking consequences for shit. We've gotten to a place that people think that because you're bigger than me, I can do what I want to do to you and there should be no consequence.
Yeah, there just a video?
That's why I don't go up to people that are 6'5" and punch them in the fucking face. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't do that shit. So there, I agree with you, but I think there's been a more.
Well,
that didn't exist when I was
you're
a kid.
saying women were abusing the fact that they can physically assault someone.
Women at this point in time, in the 90s and early 2000s, that wasn't as widespread as I see it as it is now in the internet age. Mm-hmm. That women will walk up to a dude, spit on him, and smack him, and be like, "Do something," with a camera out, and it's like.
But if you remember, for those that
But with that said, I don't agree. I agree with you. I agree.
And this
is
a real discussion. So I have 3 children. So I have a son, I have 2 daughters. The conversations I've constantly had with my daughters is, do not put your hands on people. Do not feel like you can, because there's certainly. I grew up with this where girls would push me or punch me in the arm or whatever, because it was that attitude of. I remember watching Jerry Springer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
many
women,
case in point,
women will come up and kick the dude in the nuts and
right.
But I think that however, I think just obviously there are some big women who may be very muscular and very whatever, right, as opposed to a very scrawny guy, but overall physical strength, we are stronger, right, and so it's not the equivalent, but it's I don't want to use Mike as I'm looking at Mike Tyson, because he did punch Mitch Green in the face. Floyd Mayweather, right? There's a certain expectation of him, if he is getting into it with somebody, that he can't just haul off and punch him in the face, because it's a different level, right? Mm. And I think that there's a lot of broken people that are walking around, and trauma is just being passed like candy.
Oh yeah.
And that's the reality of it. And for me, I know men are abused for sure, but the numbers are disproportionate. 1, because of just the instances, and then 2, it's not reported the same because of our, ego and pride and embarrassment. Are you going to go to the police and say my girlfriend hit me in the face? Probably not, right? But women are definitely being impacted. So with this film and this song, I'm being intentional talking to men, because I've been in a ton of rooms being supportive. I'm not as vocal when I'm in the room with the women, because I feel like my presence is more important, right? And I want to play my role, play my position. But there's women talking to women, so they're victims talking to survivors, right? And so instead of trying to talk in those circles, I want to talk to the men to hopefully prevent additional, victims. And so that's why even with Black Dollar, with this thing, is corrective action is the only option. And so, I talked to some young people, and shout out to the Freedom House. They've been you know, they let me do a screening there, and we did like a discussion or whatever. But there was a young person there that they had honest conversations about, like, oh, my girlfriend hit me the other day, and you know, I was gonna hit her back, but then I realized, you know, that we live in Massachusetts and I'll probably get arrested and blah, blah, blah. However you rationalize it in your head, whether, oh, we live in Massachusetts and it's unfair and she can hit me, I can't hit her back. Whatever's going to justify you not striking her back. No one's saying to be a punching bag, right? Or let someone wail off on you. However, like, and I think when it comes to abuse and domestic violence, there's certain assumptions of that, like hitting someone back. But there are like coercive control, which is a bill that just got passed. But that's, you know, it can be mail comes, right? Mail comes from your girlfriend and you take it and open it, which is shown in the movie, right? I open her mail. Those are things that like lead up to your girl, you know, your girl wants to go with family. And you start like kind of isolating her away from her family and protective network because it's controlling. All these different things that start happening.
Can we, before you get too far down that rabbit hole, like, I am agreeing with everything you're saying. I think the issue though is people don't get to the root problem.
Sure.
The root problem is the trauma, like everybody's insecurities that is causing that man to open the mail is the problem.
Yeah.
The act of opening the mail, whatever, who get like in the essence of a relationship where you trust, it doesn't matter if your partner's opening your mail or not. Who gives a shit? Like, life is life. But you have your insecurities, which are now people with insecurities, especially like raw male energy, faced with insecurity, becomes like embarrassment, which turns into rage, which turns into violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like the root is we got to teach men to be able to feel things, talk about things, and be able to be like insecure, like invulnerable, like
conflict resolution,
all this shit. Like that's, I think I agree with what you're saying, but like I don't want to miss the step of like we gotta like why are you angry?
No,
why don't you like what is the trauma that like we gotta work on, like, because my life didn't change until I started looking in the mirror and breaking down myself.
Accountability
right. And like being like, okay, maybe like I'm not looking at this the correct way, or why am I feeling these ways, and like being honest with yourself, because it's like as men it's really hard, as Al be calling me, as men it's really hard to like be around other men and be like, hey, I cried about this because it hurt me. It hurt my feelings.
Without being laughed at.
Yeah, but like even the Benzino thing.
Yeah.
Like, but then you see a lot of people going, that's strength that you can do that, like in a public forum and shit. We need more of that, and I think that's what leads to non-violence.
I think there is more of that. It's more like
people
allowed
still look
now.
Down at, I mean, someone who I love
in the hip hop community.
I think it's more allowed than it was. But I'm just wondering if I mean, we had like Lil Peep was famous. That's emo rap is like a thing now.
Yeah, but
that's different.
Exactly. That's like different. that's the depression drug bullshit. I'm talking about accountability, being like, no, this is not the right thing, even though if it's
and
the
you're
easy
working
thing.
through it in real time.
Yeah, I wonder how much more there is first of domestic violence now that the balance between men and women has been completely thrown off with the internet and the advent of dating apps. Like,
yeah, and that's another layer.
I think yeah.
Well, I mean, so stripping it to and I think that, which I appreciate you bringing up the film, and I think that I always want to be mindful of not shying away from the conversation. Obviously, it's a bigger conversation, and for me, I feel like I'm a man first, right? But I'm also an artist. And so what I choose to do is use my art to create the spotlight for said issue. And then I want the experts to come in and speak. I want to be a liaison. I don't want to be the know-it-all or the expert of.
That's we're in the film. At the end, you have all the hot
But
lines.
that's a cool way to look at like art and artists. Or like, because a lot of people don't understand even that process. Like people be like, oh, the artist has to have a point. Like maybe not. Maybe you just want to talk about
show it,
and you come up with the fucking point. I'm just the conduit to the thought process.
Yeah. And there's different types of art.
It's a cool way to look at that.
I feel like overall, for me, things changed when Nipsey was murdered. And I talk about this, so talk about vulnerability, right? I talk about, when Tupac was killed and I was a kid, I remember what I felt like. And I remember I had,
Where were you? Because I remember when that got told that Tupac got killed. Do you?
I remember.
I lived on
one of those weird things.
Yeah. I lived on Wabino Street, which is off of Humboldt. I believe it's off of Humboldt. Yeah, behind the Trotter.
Okay. In general, where were you?
Yeah, I was in Boston.
Is latitude, longitude, fucking coordinates?
Yeah, no. Were you like sitting at your TV watching Gilmore Girls, or were you out?
I don't remember the exact moment as much as I remember Nipsey now. I don't remember. I do remember. And obviously it wasn't internet, so it wasn't immediate news, right? We had to wait.
My friend's older brother came and told us. We were playing like in.
How did he know?
Because he was older kids. We were playing Nerf basketball like in the bedroom, and he came in and told us. Like that's how young, 15 years old type shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he was like probably 20.
But see, still, we had to like wait for like Angie
radio.
Martinez to say something.
Well, probably Romero probably told him.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, back. But I think so. To put like a Cliff Notes version on it, I just remember the heartbreak that I felt at that time, and I remember being in my room with the door closed, and I just was like sad, and I believe I cried. I'm sure I did, and I just listened to his music, and I'm like, damn. And I think. Are
we talking about Nipsey now? Or?
No. This is Tupac when I was a kid. So fast forward with Nipsey, an adult, I have a family, like going in a room and closing my door and like crying about it. Like, I guess I could do that, but I just didn't know what to do. So I went outside, I drove for like an hour and was just blasting his music. But the same heartbreak that I felt with Tupac, I felt with Nipsey. And so what I realized was, I wanted to be very intentional from that day forward about what I put out into the world. Art, clothing, whatever it is, I want to be very intentional about it. I don't want to waste words. I don't want to waste moments. And it made me then shift a lot of, I always appreciated Public Enemy, Dead Prez, but like I wasn't heavy into the music where like I'm going to go to a Dead Prez concert and like say it word for word. Right? That wasn't necessarily my bag. I think I always had a certain awareness about myself in the community and situations. But now I look differently, and it pains me that people, rest in peace to the young man who was just killed in the barbershop, right?
Yeah.
I'll say two things about that. I think from the outside, when we see something like that, it's always easy to be like, oh, this senseless violence has to end, right? There might be other layers, and believe me, and people clip whatever. I don't know any inner workings of that situation, but in general, people will immediately be like, oh, the senseless acts of violence has to end, but there's sometimes nuances where, like, maybe your brother was murdered. So for you, that's not senseless to retaliate. Now, being a vigilante is not a legal thing. It's not encouraged. It's anarchy. However, to you, that's not senseless. So you went and did what you needed to do. Now, the place in which you did it, a little kid might have been walking into that barbershop for his first haircut, and that's what he sees. He sees brains on the floor. Now, that trauma that we spoke about earlier, that's in the 2-year-old. Now, is that addressed? But it just goes. Mm-hmm. And that's and bringing this back, I have a problem with now seeing that and going into the studio the next day and paying $30 an hour, $40 an hour, or whatever, or free.
In 2024, damn. Cheap.
Well, shout out to Joey Benjamins. That's my, and Loud Dope Studios, by the way. I have a problem with going into the studio and recording a record talking about blowing someone's head off. I have a problem with that.
Which you never really did.
So it's interesting.
I never did it, and I never had this level of thinking back then, but I think there was always a grounding of, I kill you. It's not just killing you. It's killing cousins, family.
Right, the
There's a
domino
whole
effect.
village.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We just had this conversation about, on current events, Benny the Butcher. I was listening to the Lil Wayne song, Benny the Butcher song, and he's talking about selling fentanyl. Talking about selling fentanyl. That guy's dead from fentanyl. That guy's dead from fentanyl. This guy's dead from fentanyl. These 4 guys in the fucking back of my leg are dead from fentanyl. I can't listen to this fucking song
and celebrate it.
It's
like,
not
funny.
It's not like, what are we talking about here? And that's what I'm hearing what you're saying right now. It's like, as a man, when you're accountable, you're like, wait a minute. Like, we're putting some shit out into the world like it's cool. And like, there's real life situations that like actually have been impacted by these things. What are we teaching people here? Like, what are we actually celebrating?
It's, I think.
So I agree with you on that. Like,
art is
there's
so,
time and a place for art. Don't
art
get me
is
wrong.
powerful, right? And my music, I don't know how people categorize. I genuinely don't know how people categorize my music. I don't feel like I am stay in school, don't do drugs, get married, be monogamous like that. I don't. Those aren't my messaging. However, I feel like I have always been the same. Where like, it's a brand you can trust. I don't flip flop. I'm not a weirdo. I feel like a lot of people who go out of their way to say that this rapper is a weirdo, they are the weirdos.
Well, yeah,
you know, like, and I'll say like, and I hate that I said that first because now so I remember like Troy Ave was going out of his way to make comments about people and Kendrick Lamar and this, that, and the third. And then life happened, and then there were certain decisions that were made. And then as those decisions played out, people now feel a way about him. Right? And so how does that play out? I feel like a lot of people, even when I was performing back like with the Middle East Club or Milky Way or whatever, there was a time I did a benefit show and I was running late from doing something. I had a suit on and I went right to the Milky Way and performed with the suit on. Now I didn't make it like, hey, ladies, love. I didn't like play into it like Casanova, but I just performed with a suit on. And it wasn't like I'm me. I don't need to put on a monkey suit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not but I grew up in a time where that's what it was. Like the guys that I was around would not dare wear a suit and go and perform unless it was part of a bid or like, you know what I'm saying? I'm me. Like the same, I think the friends and the network and the circle that I have and I've been blessed enough to cultivate over the years and nurture, it wouldn't even be accepted if I talked about pushing fentanyl or shooting somebody in the face. Like when I play that for someone, they're going to look at me crazy.
Yeah.
And so I just don't understand how other people don't have those checks and balances of like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like I can wait. Well, yeah, wait this way.
You know, no, you're good. You're good.
Yeah,
and like we all like Hollywood, like bang bang shooting about movies, but like, all right, we get it. Like when it's like it comes to a point where you're like, you're talking about like cutting it and putting it in the like people are dying from this shit that we know. Like, what the fuck are we? What the fuck are we doing? Like,
I mean,
same shit, but I get it.
I don't, but I think that it is what it is, right? And I think that from the beginning of time, I think where hip hop was, even with Sugar Hill Gang, of all the stuff they were talking about, like they didn't have any of that. So it was projecting whatever, right?
Benny the Butcher has,
I think Benny's a dope
dancing
MC.
Pyrex that is on stage with
I think that's crazy too. He sent me a video of this shit. He's like I feel, and that's a fucked up thing too.
Right, I feel kind of guilty when I'm there, especially with a bunch of white kids from the suburbs.
And because crack destroyed the black community. So you have people that are actually in the audience that are white, that are
they're
like
getting their Pyrexes signed.
But the people that are actually going
they're
like
selling them too.
And you look at the whole thing of it going like, as a white person going like, this is fucking wrong. Like this.
Well, yeah,
like, I feel almost guilty, like paying money to be part of this fucking destruction of this shit. And I fuck with Benny the Butcher too. Don't get me wrong. I fuck with him. Dope. But at the same time, you gotta like, as a man with morals, you gotta step back.
Right.
And
there was Bruiser Wolf from Danny Brown's brigade. Yeah, he's
Danny Brown from Detroit.
Yeah, he sells at his show, at the Danny Brown show. He was selling like signed Pyrexes. Right. So they're taking. It's almost like.
I mean,
but it's always. I think I've always felt guilty to a certain degree, with a lot of rap, that like, oh, this is talking about the degradation of the black community. Here I am, a white dude from the suburbs, I'm like loving this song.
The problem is, I think that everyone has their journeys and their paths, and for me, I'm being very mindful of, and we talked about the film without necessarily going back to that, but like
We can talk more about the film.
Well, no,
this is a circular conversation.
So what I'm saying in a sense is like Tyler Perry. I'm not the biggest Tyler Perry fan as far as the films that he puts out. There are some that I like, right? However, what he has been able to do and feed his niche audience and create what he has created and employ so many people of color and create a studio in Atlanta that is a fully functioning studio where he doesn't have to go to Paramount and rent and have to go to, like, that is impressive.
Yeah.
Now, you know, throughout his whole history, there has been criticism of him from Spike Lee, others, right? I think we all have different.
What's their criticism?
That, you know,
the
what's the common
right?
theme?
Everything.
Yeah, just I think like culturally, like what he is putting out. I think
it's like it's emasculating black men. Isn't that kind of like
that's part of the conversation? And then just like you know, you know, so there's something I'm gonna bring it back, but there's something I literally just saw come in here, right? Tiffany Haddish was with the Hiltons in I don't know, Paris, maybe. And there's a video, right? And you see the mother talking to Tiffany and it's like, now do it. So Tiffany got up and walked. She wasn't in the fashion show, but she got up and walked down a runway. And people were clapping as if she was in a fashion show. And then she went around and then hurried up and sat down and then they all were like laughing. They were like, ah. And so the criticism is like they just use you like a puppet. Like they just had the black girl make a fool of herself. Now, whether or not everyone feels that way, as a black person that has a certain awareness of himself in the world and how things are viewed, you have a choice to make. I have a choice to make. I grew up on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? There's nothing, I don't do this anyway, but if we're talking about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and talking about Carlton, and I get up and start doing a Carlton dance, it's viewed a certain way. And a person can agree or not, but it's viewed a certain way. And I think that I am being very mindful. I'm not holding picket signs. I'm just living by example. I'm being on code. And what I mean by that is if something is not in line with whatever moral compass I have, I'm removing myself and not supporting it. Now, I choose to not be vocal and have boycotts. Like, that's not my bag. But if there is a boycott, stashes on Blue Hill Ave. It was a thing where like they, you know, called a woman supposedly a nigger bitch, right?
Yeah, I was just
They said that. Now, that wasn't said this, that, and the third. Then it comes out later on that like the employees were treated a certain way and all this stuff. And it was this whole big thing. It was protests outside and it was lives and all that stuff. And I would drive by and I would still see people who look like me going into stashes. And the excuse is, you know, the pizza's good. You know, it's down the street from my job. We can make all the excuses we want. But sometimes it's good to be on code.
You got to walk to work.
We're not rocking with them right now. We're not rocking with this right now. So it's Gucci with the blackface.
Sometimes you got to walk to work.
Yes.
It sucks. That's the fucking deal.
And so the difference between me and others is, you know, I don't necessarily have to be so loud about whatever it is, but like I just don't like it. Like a lot of my heroes who I grew up, like I just unfollowed 2 people. Not that it matters, but I unfollowed 2 people.
Damn, so
that,
soon, do you?
that like it's just like as I'm getting older and having the knowledge of self, and just as I'm looking at the world and what I want for my kids, and looking at climate, and just like there's certain things that I'm moving a certain way, right? Like I grew up, my culture I related to was hip hop. I didn't have West Indian culture. I didn't have Latino culture and the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I didn't have any of that. None of that. I didn't feel a part of that. Hip hop is what I felt a part of. That's the only thing that I felt a part of. And so as I'm seeing the matriculation of it and the advancement and all this stuff, I don't feel a part of what it is.
I agree with that.
Which sucks because that was part of my identity my whole life. So imagine, like, how does that feel? How do you deal with that?
We're all asking that question as we hit our 40s.
I'm trying to figure that out myself.
But so to the point of like Benny the Butcher, regardless of his subject, he still taps into what we remember when we heard Into the 36 Chambers, or when we heard Clips, or when we heard, like, it reminds you of, holy shit, when you hear Young M.A. It's like, oh shit, she raps.
The difference is too, he brought that up. He goes like, one of them brought that up. It was like, well, they talked about crack and this and that. I'm like, but my friends didn't die from crack. Yeah. My friends died from heroin and fentanyl. So it's like that. And as a grown man, as a 23-year-old, I probably would have been singing the fentanyl shit. I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but as a 43-year-old, I have to be. There has to be some accountability, because how many tears I've cried over my fucking friends in real life.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm like, it's selling fentanyl, I'm like, God, nah, man.
I know. I'm trying in my head to think of like arguments for why. For like if you were like blasting and rapping along to a Benny the Butcher song about dealing fentanyl, I'm trying to think how you could. I'm like trying to look for a way that you could rectify that to yourself.
I want to. Like,
I know. I'm trying to think of it,
because I respect Benny and I fuck with Benny.
And let me. I want to.
It's
and
a
again,
dilemma
people are going to, and that's the unfortunate part. Like, a lot of times the message gets lost in whatever. I want to be like clear. Obviously, there are other people who are making music
about
that,
yeah, of course.
Right. But you just chose because that's the current.
That's
song.
what I heard.
And like,
because he's so dope. That's part of our problem.
And the song's dope and the lyrics are dope. And I'm a lyricist. I don't know. I was an AWOL. I don't know if you remember me from that shit. Like, yeah, that's me.
Shit.
Yeah, exactly. We used to do. I'm there on the wall and shit. We used to do the whole thing. Yeah. The whole. It's coming back now. So like, I'm a lyricist.
I have a CD with it. And yeah.
My man. You know what I'm saying? That's it right there. Up on the wall.
Where?
Chris Ferron up on the wall right there. Shot her around the world.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
That's I have the physical CD.
But that's the fucking, that's the review for it. Yeah.
Full circle.
There we go. Stress in the house. AWOL. Boom.
Please.
So you know already. So now I'm like, it pains me that dope ass lyricists like that. I'm like, fuck. Like, but that was the first time in my life I was ever like, I can't rock with this.
Yeah.
And it was weird.
But that I would commend you for, because unfortunately, and this is what I'm saying of the people who I've unfollowed, and I'm going to probably continue. Some people never get to that. They never get to that thing. Whatever that thing is, some people never get to that.
Yeah.
Like,
it's better to be honest with yourself. It's like you said, no, I could go, Benny the Butcher's dope.
Yeah.
He's a dope lyricist. That bar is dope. Yeah. The way he put that, the way the way he did that, dope.
The rhyme scheme.
I could do that. Or I could say, nah, I stand for this. And it just don't fuck.
And that doesn't mean that you have to protest him, or you have to go to his show with picket signs. Like, you can just choose to silently not rock with it.
And maybe I listen to other songs.
And that's what I'm saying. Yes. And
maybe I listen to other
and it's
Benny
not
the Butcher
throwing
songs.
him out. Exactly.
No,
and so there
that's
are
where you're putting your dollar. Where
you're putting your
listen.
I'm like,
you're doing a vote. That's that idea. You're voting each time you spend time on it.
And, at the end of the day, and on the flip side, as an artist, if I say that and I put fentanyl in my lyrics, right, you have a choice of listening to that record or skipping it or whatever, right? And so back in the days, people used to write letters, right? And they used to send letters to like the labels and the record, not the labels and like the TV companies and NBC and all that. They would send letters. I remember like hearing in Living Color, they would get a ton of like hate mail about the things that they was. Now it's, everyone has an opinion, and so they go live, and then it's this whole thing, right? And I just choose to not, and what I hate is like, and it just happened with somebody, where the person gets online. So say like the whole Kendrick and Lil Wayne thing, right? Kendrick and Super Bowl, and people feel like it should be Lil Wayne. Whatever you feel about it, there are people that like went live, like, everybody's asking me, who's everybody exactly, right? And like, so what? What does that mean? Like, people are making a choice to pick up their phones and say, "Hey, world, this is what I feel about." And for me, it's just like, I'm cool. I'm like, that's not I'm cool on that. Like, I don't want to.
You're just being the example, or
I guess.
You're not going out of your way to show. What is it called when you're like showcasing something?
Grandstanding.
Yeah, there's like another word that was huge during the whole
showboating, grandstanding. It's all the same.
Yeah.
But like, I think that people have choices.
Well, people also want to make themselves the center of attention.
That's
they
what the
want to
word
like.
I'm thinking of
It's
is about.
like when someone dies, they're like. They have to tag them and then be like, "Oh, I'm this because this person died."
And then
it's
they show
like,
text
what the
messages
fuck are you doing?
that
like,
they had between.
or they're showing the hand right before someone died. Like, what are you fucking doing?
So
like,
this is my, and I.
Well, it's not about you.
I go back and forth with this with very few people. I think I use social media differently than a lot of other people, and the essence of it, like I don't like social media. The essence of it for me is to engage in a way that I see fit. Also, like promote whatever it is or bring attention to whatever it is. If it's a cause, if it's a friend's release party, a dude I did a record with and we met, Kaimo, he's out of New Jersey. Passaic, I think is how you pronounce it. It took me a long time. But he just got a distribution deal with Rock Nation, right? And so I reshared that on my story and was like, salute. Yeah, now, whatever that turns into, and what I also said is now the work just begins, right? It doesn't, just because you get what does that mean, right? Mm-hmm. You don't just rest on your laurels. So, but I shared that because that was a genuine thing for me. One of the biggest things that I've done for years, and I don't do so much anymore, is like, I would always share people's stuff or go to people's shows or buy people's records, or because I genuinely felt like as a community that was important, as a hip hop community, right? And it wasn't so reciprocal. And it wasn't a matter of personal people don't fuck with DL. It just was people are very self-centered. And that's just the reality of it. So back in the days with Dane and the MIC, Mass Industry Committee, it was about, Dre at the time had the record deal with Polymore Mass Appeal, Dre Robinson. And it was conversations behind the scenes of we need to get behind this to support this. Because once we support this, then, but even within that time period, there were people who still chose the individual route. And they chose to align themselves, but they didn't
You just want people to stop being sheeple and start being more intentional, looking into things more.
I don't even know if it's a want. It's categorizing what it is, understanding what it is. It's like if you're
just don't be on autopilot.
If you're a giver or a taker, right? Like depending on which one you are, you will surround yourself with others. So I am a giver. It's not conducive to me and my spirit to be around a bunch of takers.
I'm a giver too, which is why I'm going to give you this Dookie chain. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't figure a good moment.
Jeez. So is this like a crowning?
That's like a crowning.
All right.
But your headphones are on, so I can't do it.
All right. So I'll put, I can't. And because it's hip-hop.
Because it's hip-hop.
Because it's hip-hop. You know what I'm saying?
You don't necessarily want to spend your black dollars on a Dookie chain.
Well, I thought about this. I thought about this coming here, right? Because I think that the Dookie rope represents hip hop more than any other piece of jewelry.
Thank you. I think more than anything.
Now we're going to cut that, and that's going to be what we show anyone when they ask about this Dookie chain.
But you have to look at, so even more than a Cuban link, more than a Figaro chain, more than a Gucci link, right? A Dookie rope that's what the standard was.
Bismarcky is all I think about.
I see that. Yeah,
like when I think
like
Rakim, I get him.
I think Big Daddy Kane.
I just think
Big Daddy Kane,
Bismarcky, and I'm like, that to me is like hip hop in its fucking essence. You know what I'm saying?
But so I'll tell you this, right? Because I saw some interviews, and I didn't see the part if it was addressed or not. But I saw some interviews, and not everyone puts the chain on, and I don't know if there's a conversation beforehand or not. My point is, because I'm okay with it and the justification of it, it's okay for me to do it. There's some people that may see like, but like, again, how I have constantly like moved, I don't feel like that should be questioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to ever do something where I'm stepping outside of,
I love that question right there, because being two white guys in hip hop, we've had this question as well too. And like, so me and him are different guys. All right. I bought Boogie Down Productions tapes when I was like 6 fucking years old. I've been battle rapping on the corner of fucking Downtown Crossing forever. Like, I was in hip hop. I am just as fucking hip hop as you.
Smart.
That's what I feel. That's who the fuck I am. I'll stand on it. Let's go. Bring it.
Yeah.
He's not that.
Yeah.
All right. So he has other, but he's also Van Styles from 88.9 at Night. He also has his place in fucking hip hop.
Yeah,
he also has his.
Well, I was wondering where you're going with that because I've been listening to hip hop since I was like fucking 9 years old.
But I love the grace of him being quiet and letting
but with different
watching.
animals with hip hop, right?
Yeah.
So with the chain, right? So certain people, they'll be like, "Are you trying to do like," and not like the Jungle Brothers, all right? Baby, like he was like, "Yo, I love the, what do you call it? Satire." He's like, "I love the satire." I got offended.
That's not satire.
I'm like, this is tribute to me.
Yeah.
Like I put 40 names on a fucking paper, and me and him went through them, and like it was there, like hip hop, like it was all hip hop cool shit. And that one was the only goofy one I put on there. And I thought it was goofy, and I'm like, and all of a sudden, the more I said it, I was
of course I had to pick that one.
That's the one he picked, and I was like, the more I said it though, I was like, nah, like I can stand on this.
Yeah.
I can walk into any room with that, and Benzino just put it on. Romero put it on.
Dope.
Big Sugar, like,
and it's the easiest marketing ever. Just wear the Dookie.
So it's like, but I get it
now. So to that point, if you had like a big pendant, or you had like, even if you had like, so if you had
it's
that
coming.
logo, if you had like,
it's coming. Pause.
Jeez. So I will say, for me, I don't know if I would. So if it had like Big Dookie Chain and it was like big, like how T-Pain had. Whatever that chain was, the biggest chain ever. Or some shit.
Big
like
man
I
chain.
don't know if I would put that on,
Nah,
because then it for me it changes, because it almost seems like, get up and do karaoke, This is different because it's very, and it's intentional, and either you get it or you don't. Some people don't, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And like the younger generation, we got to have this discussion.
I was going to say Token. Dope MC, whatever. Like my Knox, my brother, he's doing a producer for him and shit. I fuck with all this shit, so nothing against Token, but he was like, like Dookie's like poop, and like, I'm like, motherfucker, like you a kid, you have no idea what you're offending me right now, because this is my culture.
It's a different.
Well, you'll
like I don't think, I ain't a rapper. I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
I live hip hop. Like when you said like I don't feel a place in here anymore, I felt that.
Yeah.
Because like I come from this. Like I'm a student of this craft and art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I respect who thought of it, and the people that advanced it, and like the wordplay of it, and like the scholarship of it, and the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
All of it, to me, it taught me life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like when people fuck with that, and they're doing karaoke. Personal. I take it fucking personally.
It is,
like, you know what I'm saying? Because this is my shit. Like, this is like, this is the reason I'm still here now, is because of this. You know what I'm saying?
And that story in itself, like, how can anyone ever say you don't belong if it literally
I'm a guest in the house. No, I ain't, motherfucker. I live here.
But however, I think it's important for context of understanding,
of course,
so but if you don't have that piece, that's very important, and you don't need to wear it on your shirt and advertise it, but if that piece is missing and it's disregarded, then you feel a way of like, really, you know what I'm saying?
If I didn't know my history, and you could tell like, no, this dude knows his shit, like, so of course, like, I've been here as long as you have.
Well, and like, DL will love this.
You good? What's he gonna love?
That Uno the Prophet, you remember him and me going back and forth back in the day, but he reached out to Tash because of the Dookie Chain thing when he saw this.
And he's like, because and I knew it was coming, and I know that they don't like each other. Now, I know this, and now for what it's worth, if Uno watches the show and like he's a fan of the show, so like
that's the only reason I'm bringing it up.
Shout out to Uno for being a man about this shit, and he was like, he kept hitting me up, and I was not avoiding it. But I was like, bro, like, I don't have time for this conversation
right now.
Like, I'm not doing this with you. And he kept being persistent with it. So eventually I'm like, yo, all right, I call him. Like, what's good? What's good? Mm-hmm. I'm not him. What's up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? And he's like, no. He's like, I want to ask you, like, why do you use it? And I explained it the same way I explained to you. And he's like, you know what, man? I fuck with that. He's like, what's your Instagram? I want to follow it. What's your thing? I want to follow it.
Tash, hold up.
So Uno, right? So what I was saying is, he basically hit me up and he was like, Uno, for people who don't know, his name is Uno the Prophet.
No.
So you can obviously understand, and he's a black dude in Boston who's an advocate in Boston. So you can already understand the kind of man.
Party.
Yeah, he is. Is he part of the new Black Panther Party?
Still, I don't know 100%.
He's always been very vocal. There's
and
been some conflict that we've had over the years.
And so
me being white in radio and undergroundhiphop.com.
Anyway, so by the end of the conversation, though, he got it. And it was like same shit, like, nah, motherfucker, like, I'm not here to like monkey around, shucking and jiving shit. Like, I was called a wigger the whole fucking time. Do you understand what I'm saying? By like all the white people that I like, because I hung out with black people and rapped and like rap music. Like I'm from that shit. Like so, like I don't fuck around with this.
As am I.
Well, then we get into like a black person never called me a wigger.
Right.
I was never called that. I was never.
Right. It's always the white guy. High school, it was just nonstop.
So what do you think that is? It's
well, so that so much doesn't happen now, I would think.
No, I don't think anymore. No, I don't think so.
But see that. So regardless,
but you said that you gave the explanation to Uno, and he actually started following us.
Yeah,
you won him over
because the explanation is coming from a genuine place, and I think you are you from here? Are you from here? Yeah. So I think it's different if you come from like Kansas, right? And you move here, and then it's like this is what you're doing. It's like I know that there must be a recollection of remembering those CDs and those write-ups and those. And it's like, oh, okay.
Well, the on the wall right there, this isn't about me, but like to get context, I was the first person from the suburbs who brought like the white kids from the suburbs to all that shit. Like I moved that article that Christopher wrote about me in the Herald right there. So it's called Suburban Homeboys, because I was the fucking dude who like with Leedz, like when I started doing shit with Leedz, we brought 40, 50 people with us. And he was like, what the fuck is this? All wearing the same shirts. And you were sorry. Yeah. So people were like, oh shit, we can start selling to the burbs. Yeah. And they brought all those suburban acts in, like people like Hush and it's like 100 other people that came along with that. But that was that's dope. That shit. You know what I'm saying? Dope. So we're from that era of that, like, nah, man, like I don't play with this shit.
And ironically, I see the
MIC award. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm
shout out to Dane Irv and Lyrical.
Well, I was gonna say like all the theme songs, commercials and shit. That was all Knox beats. That was me and Knox putting those together. Firehouse Fridays, all that shit. Yes, that was all me, motherfucker.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
I'm here.
So I think that it's
So no one's gonna tell me. You see what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, and there's always contrarians, right? So as passionate as you are and your explanation and reasoning and belief, someone will absolutely still like chop away at each thing and then go back and forth. And it's just a matter of if either of you feel like having that debate and feel like going into it. And
exactly.
I am just
if you're going to wear it, you have to be all right with having the debate, but having the conversation.
You know what my debate is? Honestly, I'm going to be straight up with you. The thing I think is we need a brand new one that we only keep in here and only the guests wear. That's my only beef with it. Oh. You know what I'm saying?
And
that's what I'm saying is coming, because like I want it to be like the dopest one.
I want it to be real. Well, I want it to be a $40,000 one.
I mean, you can only,
maybe eventually we'll get some sponsorship. Sponsorship.
But I think that we talked a little bit about the hip hop scene,
right? Well, it's sounding to me like you just want people to think about their actions and just like give things a little thought. I wanted to roll back over to Nipsey Hussle, because you kind of brought him up, but we never discussed it. Everyone like jumping. I mean, what happened to Nipsey Hussle? He was a huge community activist. He was an advocate for a lot of good things. He was very vocal, and he brought a lot of people together. And he was killed, and like everyone online that like showing faces. What's the dude's name? Eric Holder. Like pictures of him having had the shit beat out of him in jail, and everyone's like, hell yeah, it's like a
yeah.
I'm like disgusted by that shit. No one ever had the discussion of like what led to him getting shot. I mean, that dude Eric Holder was getting ECT, electroconvulsive therapy. He was clearly super depressed. There's a lot of different things that we could talk about, and it just became like beat the shit out of him, like fuck him in prison. Well, and that's just like unthinking that people do. Nobody wants to, like, you got to like think a little more.
Well, so it's also, but and people who are, I'm trying to think of people who are abolitionists and don't, and maybe I'm misspeaking. Again, I'm not the expert in it. I believe that it's like not for prison, right? There's other things you can do and other measures.
Let's hope.
I think that, like anything, some people are against the death penalty until your 5-year-old daughter gets shot in the face, right? Some people are against abortion until your 12-year-old daughter is pregnant. So it's just everyone feels a way until it impacts them. Back to the fentanyl line, right? It was fine until you lost, right? Because it hits home different. I think with Nipsey, the reality is someone who was trying to do something to be a change agent was taken, which impacted as we see, not just his family, but like everything, Vector 90 that he was putting in for the kids for, technology, the Puma stuff that he was putting in place, like all of that stuff. And it's not to say that he was an angel, for sure. Mm-hmm. But even in him doing probably some of the most heinous things, you can tell he was a thinker. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And he wanted more for himself. Some people are in the environment in that time to get through, to move to the next thing. And I always appreciate that and respect that. It's the people that stay in it. And it's like, I grew up in that. You know what I'm saying? I went with my parents to pick up money from their workers on a corner. I was with my mother years ago when she pistol whipped somebody in the bushes. I seen it. I seen coke on the table. I get it. 100%. Cash money. Like, I didn't grow up learning about credit. Like, I get it. Custom four-wheelers when I was 7 years old. I grew up in it. I chose to not rap about that. I chose to not follow in the footsteps that I seen. I talked to pimps when I was 5, right? Like, I remember going back and forth, and one of my, and I tell a story because I'm not ashamed of that part, but my father wanted me to learn Spanish because a lot of people he was going to New York and his connects with, he wanted to make sure that I knew what they were saying and I can articulate it to him. That's how that went. However, I never grew up like I didn't grow up with like, roaches all over the place and, hot dogs and orange juice in the fridge. Like, I didn't go without. I didn't have like, my clothes stolen to pay for their next fix. I didn't experience any of that. However, I grew up in the underworld. I seen it. And I just think that there's an expiration date. You see the people who are like the old players and the old drug dealers. You see them today, and they look crazy. They're the old dude in the club that won't leave. They are crazy. I don't want that. I don't want that. Like, I'm a better version of my father. My son is a better version of me. That's how it's supposed to be. Like, it's weird. Like, when I hear stories, and it's unfortunate, and there's people that like will share their stories, which I appreciate the story, but I just would love a little more of the context as an adult of what that means. But when people will share stories about, so me saying like I was with my parents, picking up money, right? Like, I'm not saying that in a glorifying way at all. What I'm saying is I grew up in it. I chose to not, right? Like Biggie today, the lyrics, I was just selling drugs to feed my daughter. It doesn't mean the same thing to me today. Because that doesn't justify, for me, it doesn't justify ripping a community apart because you want to feed your child. If we all felt that way, like, why stop for red lights? Why put on seatbelts? Why not everyone drink fucking plastered, right? Like, we all can do that. Like, I saw someone yesterday and pissed me off. I'm beeping at him, and I don't even use my horn, but he's just driving. I'm behind him, and he's just driving, not putting his blinkers on. Now, not a big deal, I guess, but I have 2 daughters who are fucking driving. You're just driving throughout. Like, use your the blinkers are there. Yeah. I don't understand. So, I try to protect my peace. I stay low. I don't say much.
It's all intentionality is what it's coming down to.
Something interesting you just like you said, though, is bringing it back to Benny the Butcher, is the thing I like about Benny the Butcher so much is how he talks about, we used to do this shit. Yeah. And now we took our money, put it here, and now we do this shit with it.
It's inspirational, for sure.
So it's disappointing in the same fucking token when you know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, similar with Nipsey, is when you come from it, you can speak to it with a certain authenticity and reach him that this person may not be able to reach. And so you were being very mindful, and then you were hopefully leading them here, right? So I'm not mad at that. I mean, Master P, same. Like, the stories of Eazy-E, the stories are endless of people taking monies and putting it into, and even before
we just
them,
had Benzino here yesterday talking all that shit.
Sure, like, but even before them, even with Frank Sinatra, like it goes back. It's not like we created it, right? But like Elvis, again, for sure, right? But it's looked at a little different versus like, people will still say Jay-Z, like literally to this day, Jay-Z, former drug dealer. It's like, all right, I know that, like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, even Hell's Angels, they have like repurposed themselves. They're not the Hell's Angels from the 80s. Yeah. Right? It's not looked at the same way. And so shout out to Killer Mike when he tried to have I think Crip Cola or something like that, or Blood Pop or something. And he was trying to like legitimize the Bloods and Crips and have them have, because it's all about.
Was he really?
Yeah, like
okay, I don't
he did it.
But his reasoning on it, he kind of skipped over the Hell's Angels thing. Killer Mike's reasoning on why he was doing it was dope. And the same thing, like Hell's Angels is like a branded company now that like it's like it's like a logo. Their logo, their logo, it's all like copywritten and prohibit all that shit. So like they're taxed a certain way and shit like that. And like they've rebranded themselves. They're murderers and drug dealers like that. They're sex traffickers. And, you know what I'm saying? Like allegedly.
But it's been rebranded, and so. Then you get into like organization. It gets into racial components, possibly. Like it's all these different. Not possibly, but like I think
it's America, man.
You know, it's being clear on. And again, I bring up the Tiffany, and I was mindful if I was going to say it or not. My point is, some people will not have a problem with what she did, or they may not think it's that big of a deal.
I thought it was when you described it to me. It sounded like because she's a comedian. Someone having fun.
That's one.
But
that's
I can see
that's one
what
argument.
You're saying, but like I didn't go there
because it's different if they're talking and Paris gets up and does it. It's looked at a little different, right? It's just looked at different, and I think that similar to the video that floated around years ago with Seinfeld was in it, Chris Rock,
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. was in it, and they were just throwing the N-word around, and Chris Rock was laughing and playing into it, and Seinfeld was like, "Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that." Now, I appreciate that. Similar to as a man today in spaces when I'm around certain things and guys are either doing something or saying something, like I'm choosing not to be silent, right? That's who I am.
So
and
the locker room conversation, you're gonna
the locker room. So I remember when and believe me, I'm not saying this to like have a political conversation, but when the Trump video came out, grab him by the pussy, right? I remember going to work the next day, and something came up with someone, and a close friend of mine was like, you act like you don't talk like that with your friends. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
I actually don't. I've never said that.
I don't think. Yeah,
and so like. No. But it's definitely an assumption that guys feel like that, and especially successful guys. And I just seen something the other day where the girl was like, men like, women like wealthy men, right? So, him right here, it was a dude, it was an artist. I was on the stage. He can go right here and grab any woman's pussy in the audience. And it's like, I believe she believes that. And that's sad for her, right? Because that's not the daughter I'm raising at all.
It's
you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like, it gets to a point where like, if someone came to like me, I would assume if someone came in this room right now and started talking like that, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why the fuck are you like, why are you openly talking like a fucking weirdo? Like, what the hell, what has happened to you and your fucking like, and stop bringing your fucking boy around because like.
And I appreciate that energy, but Styles may laugh at it or he may not say anything, and that may be his comfort.
Yeah.
And so what I feel like is the empathy of understanding not everyone is going to speak. Not everyone is going to protest and rally and write petition letters. And like people have different levels of, but what I'm saying is I would like for men to be mindful. Like if a woman came in here, and I always use this example, if a woman came in here right now and just started talking, it changes the dynamics, at least with me, in the sense of women's experiences are typically they're in rooms and they're over-talked. And if they give ideas and suggestions, they're not necessarily listened or, whatever, right? That's a broad stroke. Obviously, there's different nuances. But I've literally seen it because I'm more in tune now. So I'm almost like, I see dead people. Like I'm in rooms and I'll see women and they're being over-talked. Or they'll say like, oh, that picture of Nas is dope. I remember that scene in Belly. And then you'll be like, oh, I remember that scene in Belly. And then Styles, it's like she didn't say it, right? Yeah. So I'm mindful of when a woman comes into the room and she's talking, I'm mindful of me stepping over. Even if it's, I want to prove a point or I want to add on to what she's saying, I'm mindful of it now, right? And I wasn't so mindful of it 4 years ago. And that's not to say that I'm walking around with a big cape and I'm trying to grab. I passed a woman earlier today who was crying. My heart wanted to say like what's wrong, but I'm still a man.
Yeah.
And I also am protecting my peace. I know I was coming here tonight, so I don't want to ask her what's wrong. And she says my boyfriend just raped me in State Street Station. Because now, what do I do about that?
Yeah.
Right? And so...
I have that dilemma too. It's like one of those things, you can't save the world, you got to save yourself, but you can't. It's like, I heard someone say something today on an interview I was watching. It was like, and this is a little bit different than what you're saying, but same principle. It was, my peace is more valuable than your success.
I like that.
You know, so it's like,
but I feel it's a certain selfishness. But yeah, and I've now looked at selfishness is not such a bad thing, right? And I think it's a difference of being selfish where you all leave for whatever reason to have a quick meeting, and I'm like looking for like spare cash, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a different because gas is so expensive and I need to fill up my tank. Versus like you ask me, hey, can you drive me to Duxbury? And I know that I'm literally going like, no,
Yeah.
because I drive to Duxbury, I drop you off, dap up, and then I get pulled over, or my car breaks down, or I get a flat tire. Now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to be more mindful of my heart is my heart, but I'm very mindful of who gets access to it. And it took me a decade to get to this point because I was always, like I can never.
You did your work.
I did my internal work, therapy for sure. Marriage therapy, individual therapy. I'll talk about it. I talk about, because again, sharing stories people are in different places in their lives. Like there's someone right now where someone who I love is going through IVF. I've only heard about these things and I hear the stories.
What is that?
IVF,
in vitro fertilization.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is super expensive, super emotional because you're hoping and thinking and it doesn't work out and you got to do it again and all these things. But now I'm seeing it on a micro level of what that looks like, right? So my understanding of it is a little different. And so I think that the stories that you sometimes share allows people. So when I hear celebrities talking about IVF now, because people can say, won't you shut the fuck, just perform, just sing. But to this person, it's letting them know that like, this person went through it. Yes. And you don't know what that means to somebody at fucking midnight when they're getting ready to blow their brains out. So that's important.
KRS-One said it great. Like I thought he was talking about the teacher shit. And I was like, oh, you're the teacher. And he's like, no, we're all the teacher. He's like, we're the master. What you do is you go through what you go through to become the master of that.
Yeah.
And then you share that lesson with the next generation to teach. And that's what, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what that is like, and that just hit me kind of personally about, that's exactly, like, whatever the fuck it is, we're learning.
Yeah.
And also we kind of get back to a little bit, like, I don't think everyone has to speak up either. But I think certain people are leaders. Well, people that do their work also, you get to a point where sometimes like leadership is also a quality that's difficult and hard. But there are some people, and I feel like this might describe you as well, that like when you get to a point of your own mastery, if you don't share, if you don't help and don't try, you can't look yourself in the mirror.
I get that, yeah.
Because like it's now your responsibility. Because if you're in a room and you're like, oh, everyone here is terrified just like I am. But at least I can master it. I could probably show half this room that we're all scared. Let's go this way.
And that could open up the room.
And
I remember the word I was thinking, virtue signaling. So there's a difference.
Okay,
so this is where, and also when I came in with
level talking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Excuse me, Styles.
When I came in with that, when I was talking about the Eric Holder thing, I realized I was having a completely different conversation too. For me, what's important is just like not jumping on the bandwagon and just rolling with whatever's think. Yeah, I hate groupthink. That's like
it's also emotion though. It's emotion.
Yeah.
Like, think about 9/11, right? And 9/11 it's emotion. So emotion is tied to you took something. Fuck you. I don't care what happens to you. Now there's a certain population that's like, he needs reform and but the general, fuck you.
Right.
Like there's kids now that will only see their father's videos. That's the reality of it. So whatever he was dealing with, whoever sent him, whatever it is, Nipsey's gone. So, like for me, I think what I took from that is I personally do not share. I didn't share the George Floyd video, right? I talk and I'm vocal about the black death porn is fucking shared online. I'm not interested. When people share shit,
the what?
And
Black death. No,
so it's you know, some people get off on watching it. So whether they're black, white, age, whatever, some people get off on watching that.
Jumping over the counter at McDonald's, punching people,
yes.
the fucking little kids fighting.
I'm cool. I'm not interested.
Like that,
I'm not sharing.
World Star.
The barbershop thing he talked about.
Oh shit,
like,
yeah.
That video.
It's on
Exactly. So for me, right, there's nothing in me that would be like, oh, this is crazy. Share. There's nothing in me that would like it and comment under it to give it more algorithm traffic. There's nothing in me that would do that. Mm-hmm. The problem is, I think it got millions of views or some dumb like the person and
I didn't watch
it was on Twitter and shit.
Yeah,
and
saw
it comes to the
yeah.
discussion of, you know, who's guilty, you for watching it or you for filming it.
Both.
Right? Yes.
Both.
But like he made a choice to the person made a choice and walked into the barbershop. Now I watched it until because one, I'm like, how the fuck? Well, like, who's this person? They like, who has access to just walk through a crime scene? And the police was there, but like, I see the person on the ground, and then when it pans over to him in a chair, I'm like, yikes! I don't want that in my spirit. I'm not interested.
That's why.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I knew, like, knowing the possibility going into it. Like, just I don't even want. I don't even.
But we are desensitized.
What's crazy is I heard, I didn't know what the barbershop video was, and then someone sent me the rap video of the kid who it was, and then like I found out after what it all was. It was like this drill rapper. But whoever filmed it, I thought that shit was insane. Like you said, how do you have access to that? Like,
how do you have access? And it's one thing, you know, and not shooting a person bail, but if a person decided that they wanted to film that and have that in their phone and show their friends, I still disagree with it.
Oh, yeah.
But putting it online and allowing a 12-year-old who lives in Dover, Mass, and they can be like, holy shit, and they share it, and now
he just said it was called barbershop video.
It's a title.
Like, it's not even fucking like that's...
It's a murder.
That's like 2 girls, 1 cup. Like, you just you just click it. No, you know, like, you don't...
And I like to go on record as saying I still have not watched it.
Still haven't watched it either.
Yeah, DJ On&On actually called home and had his kid watch it. Well,
Jesus Christ.
But
this dude keeps telling like On&On shit.
I know.
You keep, it's like,
so
damn.
we did a radio show together.
Yeah.
So me, Dane, and DJ D Wiz, and On&On, Dane, myself, and D Wiz, we did a show, Danger Radio. And so in my phone, I still have like a couple of things where On&On's girl at the time resembled or looked just like a porn star. So we had a whole discussion about it and was like, yo, you know, when I watch it, blah, 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 and I don't know if I get upset and I'm seeing dudes hammer my girl. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But like he, you know, I talked about him the other day with Leedz Edutainment, you know, who I love. He was probably one of the most talented people
for sure. Just innate talent, 100%.
And raw, and like for me, he's my version of probably what Old Dirty Bastard must have been like to try to like manage. And
that's fair.
And you know what I mean? Because he was just literally, but like he could be stumbling in his house and falling into glass tables, but he sits down and the camera goes on and he will be captivating, and like you would be like, who the fuck is this dude? Like I remember he got fired from
underground hip hop.
No,
he did though, and he also got the launch pad.
He got fired from jamming, and like I remember talking about, and I used to listen to Maddie in the morning, and I believe it was Maddie that came in the next day, and it was like beer cans and shit on the floor, and he was like, "Who the fuck?" And I don't 100% remember the story, but I do remember that he was sleeping in the station. But that's On&On. I mean, he literally like, and I have him on the Whole World remix, which is one of my favorite records I ever recorded. And everyone that I wanted on it is on it. And so DJ On&On, and it's the RoboCop sample. And so On&On intros it. Easy Money starts it. Right after Easy, Dre comes on, Dre Robinson. Then the chorus comes on, and then Secret Society comes on, Tech.MP and Lens. And then it ends with Slain and then me. And so everybody I reached out to is on a record.
Nice.
And like the energy and it goes and it's all this, so it's super. And we performed at the MIC Awards, and there's a video of it, and Slane comes out with a piece of paper reading his lyrics because he didn't remember. He's reading it, and I'm like, that's Slane. You know what I'm saying? That's Slane.
I think we're gonna wrap up soon, but we should bring it back to like hip hop.
Yeah.
What do we think is like that? Does hip hop? I mean, like Doggy Style and NWA. There was a lot of domestic.
I didn't know. Like, wait a minute, what?
No,
Doggy Style. I get it.
I'm still keeping it on this like where things have been no, where things have been trending, like in terms of desensitizing people, and I think a lot of rap. Like if you just killed someone, it'd feel good to go listen to a lot of rap because you're like, oh, I'm not alone. Other people have killed people. Like it desensitizes you, and maybe not in the right direction.
So to that comment, I think entertainment, right? So whether it's Carlito's Way, where he gets shot in a train station at the end of it, or
but still, there's a difference because that's a movie about something.
But I believe, and I think there are stats, but I'm not going to speak as if I know the stats. But I believe that we are visual creatures. So hearing a song where I'm talking about shooting somebody. So the movie, I was very mindful to not show intentional violence on the woman because we've seen it, whether it's Law and Order SVU, which I love, or a random movie, or the video with the dude in the Bronx. I think he was in the Bronx. He was in New York, and he tried to ask the girl for a phone number. She wouldn't give it to him. He hit her in the face with a skateboard.
Jesus.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't see
exactly. And the point is that was shared to me, and I had a conversation with that person right after, and I said, I don't find the value in it, right?
Yeah,
so I asked to please stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
So
shit.
I didn't. I took the more Alfred Hitchcock Sixth Sense kind of approach of what's getting ready to happen, but you don't see me hitting her.
Yeah, and you did an excellent job of it because it
Thank you.
It ruined my day earlier. Thanks.
The movie was
sunny out.
It was very well like it definitely put money into the filming and the direction of it and everything like that.
I paid for it myself.
Yeah, there was a lot of like the quality. Yeah, the quality of it was.
Thank you.
It was high.
And
high
it conveyed
quality.
The feeling. Like I believed you.
Thank you. And I like looking at it and watching it so many times. I think I always forget the number, and I need to figure this out so I can be consistent. But it's won at least 29 awards, if not more than that. And it's been in like 38 film festivals across the country. Like so, they're posted like the laurels are on
IMDb.
They're on. I post them on Facebook every time. I haven't done them in like the past. I've gotten like 10 cents, but I have a poster. Did I send you the poster in the email?
No.
It has like all the laurels on it. So like best cinematography, best.
The cinema, all of that shit's like is 100% like
shout
on
out,
point.
and the behind the scenes of that, like literally, Ben Cassiani, who does a lot of work with God damn it, I could see his face. Medicine Man. Yeah, medicine is a medicine. He dropped Man, right?
It's just medicine.
Yeah, he does a lot of work with him. He did like. I think we bit off more than we can chew in hindsight, but he literally shot it, edited, did color grading, did the sound. It was literally him and me and Leah who played the wife, right? And that was it. No boom guy, no lighting, no nothing.
Yeah.
And that house was an arm and a leg. But the house was important because the house played a character in that. Like when I saw that house, I said that I have to have that house. You know what I'm saying? And so even in a scene where the sexual assault happens, and in the next scene, I'm bringing the bags of gifts because that's what happens. Yeah. And it's so all the things that's in it. And before that, I reached out to a bunch of different agencies because I didn't want to seem as if I was the guy coming with all the expert knowledge. I wanted to have it be authentic to the people that are in it every day. And people didn't get back to me. And people were like, oh, it's a great idea. Good luck with everything, blah, blah. Right? So I did it. And then at that moment when I'm paying for everything, I then understand the Tyler Perrys, the Spike Lees. I get it. You don't believe in it? I'll make it myself. And now you see it, right? So when the next thing comes, I'm not going to have to do the same things because I have a proof of concept. You know what I'm saying? But, I think the point is, when it comes to like bringing it back, I said.
I was saying like you're sitting in it right now. Well, you're sitting in this. This is a proof of concept.
It's a proof of concept. But you have to see it. And then, because there's a lot of people that talk and they have all these plans. They never do anything. Right.
Yeah.
And my father was ultimate hustler, all gangster and gentleman, never bothered anybody, but like he stood on shit depending on what it was. But he was a person that had a lot of ideas as far as like creations of things and all these things, and never actually went forward with patents and proof of concepts and all that type of stuff. So I grew up with that, and it allowed the imaginative part of my brain. And Willy Wonka is one of my favorite movies ever. Not the remake, no thanks. The original with Gene Wilder. I love that. I still watch that movie as an adult because it's the magic of, and it's the optimism and the possibilities. So when I say I'm not a fan of like Tyler Perry's movies, but what he did and what he built, I respect and appreciate, right? The art that I make, same thing with Dame Dash. Like, I feel like, and I'm not talking about all the stuff that's happening now, Teeth and all. I'm talking like what he represented to me growing up and what he's always like preached and spoke about. But when I feel like when he puts out his art and his films, they all look the same. They all look the same to me, right? And it doesn't show, I want to see the dude who lives in Roxbury that works at the post office. Like Poetic Justice, I appreciated that movie back in the days. You have Tupac playing a postal worker? What the what? You know what I'm saying?
So you want another layer. You want another layer.
And that's why I think, because it's always a certain image associated with black men in particular, right? Or with black women being over-sexualized, right? So that's why some people have an issue with Meg Thee Stallion performing at the Harris campaign and twerking, right? Some people. Did I? That's what she does. I mean, that's that's what she does. For me, I would have loved if Rhapsody got up and rapped. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Or but would the fanfare be the same of like, oh, there was a girl rapping, and people love Rhapsody. Yeah. But Meg Thee Stallion is a different audience. Yeah. And so it is what it is. But Meg, what I appreciate, because people can always judge on the surface, she went back and graduated college. She does a lot of good for Texas in particular and for her community and all that. I just wish that people were more vocal.
And she's so much better than Glorilla and Sexy Red. And
my daughter loves Sexy Red.
I'm sorry. Before we get too off track, before we get too off track, before we wrap it, I do want to get right back to your movie because I want to just wrap that up and nip that up. So your movie is 20 minutes long.
20, yeah.
Okay. Are you planning on doing anything else like with it or?
Yeah. So because of the awareness month, I try to not maximize October because it's already so much focus and talk about it being awareness month. But there are people who are being abused November 1, right? Yeah, or December 15th. So I'm trying to figure out, I made something that could be an educational tool. I reached out to a few different organizations and some universities. I'm trying to do like some screenings. I want to try to figure out about a streaming platform, talk about intentionality. I did have a contact at one point that was going to do an introduction to Tubi, and I chose not to, right? And for me, I'm just like, there's jokes like, oh, it's a Tubi movie, right? I think of that film a certain way. The more I've watched it, I can pick it apart, and there's a ton of things and errors that I found and wish I would have done something. Even at the end when she hits me, it wasn't like a clean hit, right? So you don't really know what she did, but you just assume. Like, I wish we would have done that different.
We just spoiler alert.
Well, I will say,
any artist who watches their shit back is going to start dissecting it. So,
but
never watch.
But I'm mindful of presentation. Ownership is important, and then also presentation. And just because this is a platform that a lot of black talent are there, I don't feel that that's the best presentation for what I'm doing and what I did. You know what I'm saying? However, I'm not going online and shitting on Tubi. And when people post Tubi movies, talking about it and thumbs down.
I think Tubi's dope. Someone created a whole network. Like, make your own network then. Figure that shit out. Like, it's not easy to do that.
And you know, I didn't look into it.
In 10 years from now, Tubi will be huge. And people, why are you laughing about fucking Tubi?
But there's,
what are you talking about?
So what I'll say is, and again, people can Google, there's things about the people behind Tubi.
I don't know about any of that shit.
So again, with me moving with intentionality, it's important to me in the sense of, so you know what I mean.
But okay, so you've won all these awards, which is amazing, and you have this project. Like, where are people going to be able to find that project? Like, how is the general public going to be able to get to that?
So now, and it's still being considered for 4 film festivals. And so because of the criteria with the film festivals, you can't just have it online for people to view, right? There is like a private link that I've shared to people that express interest in doing a show, and I don't want to mention it because it ends up not happening because that's how the world works. But I'm going to be doing a screening soon with some young people, which I'm really happy about, right? And I plan on having domestic violence advocates and experts there so we can have a different conversation and they can give resources and those type of things. So my approach is, yes, I want to put it out. I want it to be seen. I would like to make a little bit of a return. I mean, I've made something, but whatever. I want to make some return from it, but I don't also want to hoard it because I'm trying to get money, because I made it as an educational. My goal was to make this and hand it to said organization so they can use it almost like a training video.
Okay.
But, you know.
Well, that's actually perfect. So what we can do right now is we can look at this camera right here, right? And everybody that wants to reach you to get in touch with you about that movie, like if anyone sees this and they want to reach out, like to either maybe do another one or get involved with this one or do a seminar or do whatever that may be, tell people where they can find you. And then also how they can get in touch with you specifically about that.
Wait, are you kicking me out?
We've been at, what are we at, an hour 20 now?
Like hour 30.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It goes quick.
Time fly. We ain't get into. All right, so I'll say this. So, Daniel Laurent, Daniel Laurent SME on Instagram. Also DanielLaurent.com. Also Black Dollar 7 US, which is my company. So you can go on there. You can send me a request. You can send me an email if you go to the website. And I am working on the second one, and I'm taking a different approach when it comes to domestic violence from a different perspective. Because again, as artists, I feel it's important, the art that we put into the world. It's changed legislation. It's changed people's perspectives. Hip hop has brought people who would hate each other together, even if it's just for that one night for 3 hours.
Yep.
It's powerful. And so the misuse of it saddens me. However, I believe and stand in being the change that I want to see in the world. You know, the Gandhi quote, like I literally have that in front of my door when I leave every day. Be the change you want to see in the world. And so being the change definitely comes with heartache and disappointment and frustration from people all the time because everyone doesn't subscribe to that. But, you know, if you appreciate what I'm saying, definitely reach out.
Give them that address one more time.
So Instagram, Daniel Laurent SME, also Black Dollar 7 US. Also, you know, I have a podcast with my wife, Wedlocked and Loaded. That's
nice.
So,
I like
you know,
right there.
and so, you know, it's not a relationship podcast. It's we're best friends. We're also parents, and so we have real conversations. If I say something she doesn't appreciate, she'll say, "Shut the fuck up." It's not like, "Oh, honey baby," but you know. And we've gone through therapy together. Like, you know, the most recent show we talked to the Flirty Swingers. Shout out to them. There's a married couple and they swing, and it was dope. It was like there's thoughts that come with swingers, right? But they broke it down in a way that was like, oh my God.
Oh no.
And it's like practical.
DJ On&On was a swinger. Fuck.
Was he?
Yeah.
This dude snitched on like about like his whole life, bro.
Rest in peace to David Cash.
His whole
Jesus
life,
Christ.
He's like, he did this.
I love him.
I've never brought him up I don't think I've ever brought him up before.
But you know what?
You being here is bringing him back out.
He is a connection.
He's brought him up before.
He's a connection between, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just and I want to say definitely before we wrap, you know, I think that and I sent a message to you. Like, I watched the Leedz podcast. Not Leedz podcast. I watched the Leedz episode And I thought it was like really, really dope. And I thought it was really transparent. I actually hit him and told him like I appreciated. I appreciated his honesty and truth, and like
especially since we had to that was the redo of the podcast that we lost.
And he's still like,
yeah,
but like,
so yeah, it's extra good. Thank you.
I remember where he lived. I remember like he lived like I remember all of that, but I didn't know. I had no idea that he was like in that type of space. And it definitely, people was like, oh, Leedz the asshole, he's a piece of shit, blah blah blah. But like hearing that story, like he literally was like floating through the fucking day. You know what I'm saying? And so he gave me an opportunity, and y'all mentioned Bomb Shot, which was so hilarious because it was a Bomb Shot show at the Chopping Block where I met Leedz. And he gave me a shot, and a bunch of people came, and I sold out of my CDs, and a bunch of people left right after I got off. And that let me know, like, okay, all right, so I can do this if I figured it out. And it's always been, even though when he changed his model of performances and how that worked with people, and people had issues with it, it's a business, and that's how he chose. And so I never, back to like saying something in the room, people are like, oh, he's a fucking piece of shit, and he's a slime ball, and he's ripping people off. I would always like advocate for, yo, throw your own show.
Yeah.
And then you'll see. you bring Raekwon here, and you spend $6,500, and you gotta sell $15 tickets, and your friends want to jump on, and they don't bring one person, and throw your own show, right? I would always be the guy to say that, and it wasn't me caping for Leedz, but I always appreciate the people who did something for me because it's a part of my story. Yeah. So, DJ On&On, you. DJ Kerosene, Wild Boy, Roxy, who went on to be 106 in Park, and then she did some films and some other stuff. DJ Reggie B, that's in I think he's in he's from Chicago. He's in Atlanta. Chris Ferrone, Matt Burke. Remember Matt Burke with the Globe. Dane, Lyrical, Irv, MIC, Aldo, A. Garcia. Remember him? Mm-hmm. Nelly Pro 2, like these people are a part of the story of DL, you know what I'm saying? And so I am the person where I would never negate someone's role that they played, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's not honorable, and that's what I'm seeing from a lot of people. It's like, oh, tell me how you blah, blah, blah. And I skip over the interview that me and Styles did. And we've done a few. Mm-hmm. And I have that on the album. I put it on the album. Yeah. The whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So anyway.
Was the whole thing on your album?
I think so.
Was it? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So
that's what every artist should do that I respect.
But I'm appreciative of everything, man. I think that I always say, as corny as it may sound, be kind. You know what I'm saying? I say be kind, period. It's not a slogan, but like I'll just say be kind.
And put yourself in other people's shoes. Try to, and that's hard. But right now in particular, people are dealing with so much death. I've never seen this in my life. I mean, literally, not like murders. I mean, like I'll call you to say something, and a family member just passed, and you call me, and like literally. So I just ask people, be kind, be the change you want to see, and that's it.
That's it, man. We appreciate you coming down, Van. He wants to say be kind. What do you want to say to the people right there, man?
Oh, like and subscribe is the kindest thing you can do right now. You know what it is, the Big Dookie Chain.
You like that segue, don't you?
Now, what do you want to Now, what do you want to say?
What I want to say is, Sense lives, Marty forever, and fuck Kurt Schilling.
Fuck.